These full LED headlights are a great choice for the 2015 to 2023 Charger owner who's looking to clean up and refresh their car's front-end appearance and lighting output and give it a little extra something to stand out from the crowd. These don't stray too far from the factory style, but they give you that full LED headlight setup for about the best price in the segment, so they're going to make your car stand out from the crowd without breaking the bank. The Charger's headlights are pretty iconic for a reason, and these don't stray too far from what makes those original ones great. Framing the main beam and the turn signals, you're going to find two separate LED strips that function as your daytime running lights, putting out a bright white light. They make it look as though the car is kind of staring you down, and it adds a slightly more menacing air to the Charger's front end, even with chrome inner housings. Now these bars frame yet more LEDs. The inner ones light up amber to function as your turn signals, and the main event, the bi-LED projectors on the outer edges. Now these, of course, as the name implies, are going to function as both your low and high beams, and they put out a ton of light that is much better than your factory halogen setup. And as they are projectors, you're going to get that clean, sharp cutoff with a wide beam pattern, so you'll be able to see down the road much better. These also feature those chrome internal housings that I mentioned for a clean look, and I think it matches well with the rest of the light and adds a little something different to the table. Plus, they have the benefit of being plug and play, so no wiring is required to get them working. More on that though in a few moments. The outer housings are made from polypropylene, and you'll find polycarbonate lenses over top, which makes these very similar in construction to your OEM headlights. Inside, of course, the LEDs powering them will have a nice long lifespan and put out a ton of light. The housings are weather sealed to protect those electronic bits inside too. You're also going to find integrated adjusters on the back here, which means that they are DOT and SAE approved, making them fully street legal. Pricing comes in at about $800, which is a good chunk of change, but this is the most affordable set of fully LED headlights on the market for these cars. So you're getting way better lighting output than you get from the factory, and you're paying a comparatively small amount of money. If you're after better output and don't want to spend a bundle, that makes these a great choice. Installation gets a 1 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and you can expect the job to take you around 2 hours to complete. These are designed to be a plug and play job, so you don't really need to do any wiring. You've just got to hook up this one additional harness that's here, and really, that's it. It's just getting a little bit of ground on there. Though you will need to remove your bumper in order to access the lights, it's really not a difficult job at all. And we're going to walk you through all the steps right now, so with that, let's head on out to the shop.
Tools required for this install include a ratchet, clip remover tool, an extension, 7 and 8 millimeter sockets, and a 10 millimeter swivel socket.
What's up guys? Today we're installing headlights on our Charger. First you're going to watch a quick on-install video showing you how to remove your factory headlights, and I'll meet you back here for the install.
Alrighty guys, so we've got our vehicle on the lift. It's going to make it a little bit easier for us to work because we're going to need to remove this front bumper. We've got the hood up. We're going to start by removing this upper shroud. So we've got our clip removal tool. We've got push pins all along this, so we're going to remove all of those and get this out of the way first. Now that we've got all those out, this top part is going to be loose. Let me actually pop this out. Now we have a 10 millimeter bolt right under where our fender meets our bumper on each side that we're going to have to remove. So we've got our 10 mil socket on our ratchet. We'll pop that out. And we can do the same thing for the other side. So now we've got the car lifted up in the air a bit, and if you do have a front splitter or lip, you're going to need to remove that first. And then we have some 7 millimeter screws at the bottom of our front bumper we're going to need to take off. So we've got our 7 mil socket on our impact. We'll get these out of here. All right, so now we're into our fender liner, and obviously we've got our wheels off. That's going to make things much easier. And we've got our clip removal tool. We're going to need to remove the push clips around this area, as well as a few screws to pull our fender liner back to gain access to our inner bumper mounting hardware. So we'll pop these off. Also got one in here, as well as a few down bottom here. Now we've got 3 7 millimeter screws right here that we're going to need to remove. So once again, we've got our 7 mil socket. We'll pop these off. Next, we're gonna pull down a bit on our lower vent just to kind of make some space. We're gonna need to pull in on our fender liner because it does hook around our bumper. Pop that out of the way. And that should be just enough to gain access to our bumper hardware. So we're gonna need a little bit more wiggle room on our fender liner, so we're gonna take out a couple more of our push pins to give ourselves some room to work. So once again, we've got our clip removal tool. We're gonna pop these push pins back here out. It's gonna allow the front of our fender liner to drop down a little bit, which is what we need. Pull this whole thing back a bit like so. That'll give us room to access our mounting hardware for our bumper. So now we can pull our fender liner back, and this is gonna be very difficult to see, but if you follow the line where your bumper meets your fender, there are two 10mm screws we need to pull out. They're gonna be facing down, so the head will be up inside of the fender. So we've got a shallow 10mm socket on our ratchet, and we'll get in there and pop these out. And this is gonna be pretty tricky. And we're gonna switch out to our electric ratchet with our 10mm. If you have one of these, highly recommend it. It's gonna make things much easier. Once you have both of those out, grab them. So now we're gonna unplug our marker light connector. So we'll come back behind it and push down on our release tab, pop that out. We're also going to need to unplug our fog lights. So we'll reach back to our connector, release our red safety tab, and unplug that as well. Now, once you've reached this point on this side, you can do the same thing for the other side. So now that we have everything unbolted and unplugged, we can begin to remove our bumper. So you want to very carefully pull this out and support it. So now that our bumper's off, we can begin unbolting our headlight. So we've got 2 bolts up top and 2 down bottom. So we need our 8mm socket and an extension on our impact. And we'll start with these 2. Now we can get our 2 lower bolts. We'll get in here and get our lower ones. We'll get our last one. Careful to support your headlight. You don't want that falling out. Now we can pull our headlight out and unplug the single connector on the back side. So we'll push in our tab, pop that out, and we can set our headlight aside. Now once you have this side out, you can do the same thing for the other side.
So now we're ready to mount up our new headlights. So I'm just gonna plug in our 1 connector and slide this into place. And then with the headlight in place, I'm gonna take my 8mm socket and an extension, thread in my 2 bolts up top and 2 at the bottom. And then once I have them all threaded in, I'll just throw my ratchet on the other side and tighten those down. And then do that same thing on the other side. So now we're ready to mount up our front bumper. Now one thing to note is make sure that your splash guard is above the bottom lip of your bumper, because it will make it slide in a lot easier. So now I'm going to start at the top and work my way down. I'm going to start with the bolts in the corner. So just go ahead and thread that through your fender and into your bumper. And then I'm taking a 10mm swivel socket to tighten it down. Do the same thing on the other side. Next we can reinstall all of our push clips. Now we're going to hop back into our wheel well. We've got our 2 bolts going through our fender into the bumper. We've got 1 around here and one around here. Now it's gonna be very difficult to get a shot in there to show you, but you just kind of have to reach up in there and do it by feel. That first one's right here. I'm gonna thread that in as far as I can by hand. I'm gonna do the same thing with the second one. Second one's coming out right here. And then I'm gonna grab a 10mm swivel socket to get up in there and tighten these down. And then we'll do the same thing for the other one. Now we need to plug in our side marker and our fog light, and then we can pop our fender liner back into place. So for the fog light, grab your connector, push it in, and then push in the red locking tab. And for the side marker, we're just going to be plugging this one in. And then we'll just pop our fender liner back. We've got hooks down here that are going to hook around the bumper. Pop those in. And now we'll reinstall our clips and our hardware. So now we can start popping in all of our clips. And then I'm gonna rotate my wheel and we're gonna hop underneath and reinstall our screws. So now we'll come back. I've got another clip here that I removed, and then we've got our 3 screws for our air dam. And then take a 7mm socket to tighten those down. And then repeat that process on the other side. Now we've got the 6 screws at the bottom of our bumper. Before you throw these in, make sure that these tabs in the bumper are slid into the splash guard down here. And then just thread in all your screws. Then grab your 7mm socket and tighten all of them down. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the full LED headlights with LED light bar, chrome housing, and clear lens for your 2015 to 23 Charger with factory halogen headlights. Thank you for watching, and for all things Charger, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.